Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a foundation routine. We're going to go nice in depth. We're going to be talking about color correcting, choosing a good foundation for your skin tone and for this special occasion, whatever kind of thing you're using it for, whether it's everyday or for photography, for example. We're also going to be covering a lot of stuff from setting, contouring, bronzing, all that jazz. Basically, if you want to see how to get this complexion and this look, then you just keep on watching. The very first thing that you want to do when working with your complexion is to make sure that your face is as good as it can be. To do this, you want to make sure to moisturize. It doesn't matter if you have oily skin, it's still very good to moisturize. Sometimes the skin becomes oily because it's trying to provide the oil that you're not giving it. So for this, I really like to use my Pond's Dry Skin Cream. I used to use this in the summer back when I was a little more oily. I would just go very light-handed. But now in the winter time, I am a lot more oily. And I don't go ham on it, but I do like to concentrate it in the areas where I am more dry. For me, that is right here, around my mouth, and a little bit on my cheeks. You just want to make sure to work that in pretty evenly, but like I said, I like to concentrate it in my problem areas where I'm most dry. The very next step in creating a nice base for your face is to prime. For this, I'm going to be using this Makeup Forever Step 1 Skin Equalizer. This is their smoothing primer. I'm just taking about that much, and that is enough for my face. You only need to apply it where you feel that you have the most prominent pores. For me, it's mostly on my cheeks, but I do like to apply it on my forehead also. Smooth out any lines, wrinkles, whatever it may be. And since this is a smoothing primer, it's more so of a pore filler. It makes your pores look a little more not there. So you want to press it into the skin. Alrighty, now that we are nice and primed, we can start applying product. I'm going to be concealing all of my blemishes first. And for this, I'm going to be using my little sample of the Kevyn Aucoin Sensual Skin Enhancer. And this is in the color SX04. It is quite a bit lighter than me. I initially got it so that I could use it as a highlighter, because a lot of people were saying that it was really good for concealing and highlighting at the same time. But honestly, for me, this is a little too thick and I crease a whole bunch under my eyes. And I just don't like a lot of product there because I crease and it's also kind of dry. It's a weird situation down there. But that being said, this is an amazing concealer. It cancels everything out. And you only need the tiniest bit. Going back and getting a tiny bit more. And with this kind of product, since it is a little bit thicker, I like to use my fingers so that I can utilize the warmth from my hand to really smooth everything out and blend it in really evenly and nicely to my skin. So as you can see with that, you really cannot see anything behind that concealer. Alrighty, now I'm going to go ahead and color correct my under eyes. For this, I'm going to be taking my MAC Pro Longwear Concealer, and this is in the color NW25. It is a little bit darker than me, and it is a little on the orangey side. That's really helpful to combat the blue and purple undertones under my eyes, and it will completely get rid of the darkness for me. You'll see you need the very littlest bit. Using my finger once again, I'm going right where all the darkness is. And you can see the difference that that alone makes. If you need a little bit of help blending out, I like to use this beauty blender, wet, nice and damp. And now that we have all of our corrective makeup on, we can go ahead and use our foundation. I'm going to be using my Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless. This is in the color Warm Nude. The reason I really love this foundation is because it has good lasting power all on its own. It keeps you matte, but it's not too matte. And since we have properly moisturized our skin, if you're not too dry, this foundation will still work for you. Another reason I really like the foundation is because it contains no SPF in it, which, okay, it is a really good thing to have SPF in your makeup. Definitely, you need SPF in your world. But the reason that you wouldn't want SPF in your foundation is to make sure that you don't get any white cast on your skin, any kind of weird flashback, because when you do use SPF in your foundation, it will have that. You don't want to sit here, go through all these steps to make sure that everything looks flawless and, you know, perfect, just to have your pictures look too light. Even if you perfectly match your makeup to your neck, you're still gonna see like your face is gonna look way lighter, and that's never good. It's also gonna make your contour appear like it's like just a line. It's never good. So this foundation is really perfect for photography. I'm just gonna be taking a little bit on the back of my hand. I don't need very much since I have already covered up all of my problems. This is kind of just going to be to make sure that my complexion looks nice and even. And I'm only using that little bit. To distribute the product onto your face, you can either dot it with your fingers, or you can use one of these classic kind of foundation brushes. You would just go ahead and apply it everywhere. And then I would be blending it in with my beauty blender. But since I really don't feel like washing a million brushes and my hands are clean and I'm working on myself, I'm just going to use my fingers. I like to concentrate more product on my cheeks and my chin. Make sure that I get around my nose and on my nose. And I don't need too much product on my forehead, because there's going to be a lot of bronzing there and everything else. As you can see, I still have a little bit left on my hand, but that should be enough for now. If I need more, I'll go back in and add it. Using my beauty blender, I'm just going to pounce this on my face. I really like to use the beauty blender, especially with this foundation, because since it is a little more dry, this incorporates a little more moisture back into your skin. So you never really get cakey using a beauty blender. I like to bring it close down onto my neck just to make sure that everything is nice and seamless. Now I'm going to be taking a little bit of the extra product and applying it where I feel like I need a little bit more coverage, which is usually my cheeks. Alrighty, now we have a nice even complexion. If you did take notice, I didn't bring the foundation up under my eyes because we are going to be going ahead and highlighting and further concealing. So you don't want to go ahead and pull the foundation all the way up, because it's just product that is not necessary. The more product that's under your eyes, the more creasing you're going to get. So to further highlight and conceal, I'm going to be using my Maybelline Fit Me concealer. This is in the color Light. The fact that it is a little bit more pinky is going to help to combat the blues and purples under the eyes if the concealer that I used earlier didn't do enough already. As you can see, I still didn't bring it up all the way up under my eyes because I'm going to be blending upwards with the beauty blender. Same thing as before, you don't want too much product right under your eyes. I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit on my forehead, a little bit right on the bridge of my nose, some on the cupid's bow, and the chin, just to keep everything well balanced. And once again, we're going to go ahead and use the beauty blender to blend everything in. You can see right there, I still got the coverage that I needed right under my eyes by moving the beauty blender and the product upward. And I go ahead and use it on my lids too, because this will correct the darkness on my lids and it'll help prime. I like to be a little more careful with this one because we want the product to stay where we placed it for the nose. Now the very next step is a super important step. We are going to be setting the under eye liquid concealer with powder. For this, I'm going to be using this MAC Prep and Prime transparent finishing powder in the pressed version. As you guys can see, it's very well loved. This is a great one because it casts no kind of weird flashback. You'll not get the powdery look under your eyes with this product like you would with, say, this product, my NYX Mineral Set and Don't Fret It powder. I love this powder. It looks awesome in person, but in photography you literally look like you have powder under your eyes still and you didn't blend it away. It's not cute. I don't know. Well, I don't know why it does it. I think that when I went and picked this up at the MAC counter, the lady let me know that, you know, a lot of setting powders have talc. I'm not really sure how to say it. And that's what reflects the light so much. This doesn't contain any of it. And I have used this on so many people. I always do the flash test when I do makeup on someone, and it never fails me. So before you set that cream concealer, you want to make sure to smooth all the lines out, because you don't want to go ahead and set any of that creasing in with powder. So I'm going to be taking the Beauty Blender before I set it with this Lorac Pro Contour brush. So I go ahead and tap, 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 and right away I set it with a brush. Same with the other side. Tap, 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 and quickly set it with a brush. You don't want to give that under eye any time to crease. I am going to take a little bit more of the powder and kind of bring it downwards onto my face. But that's where I'm going to stop with this powder, because I don't want to use it all up. To set the rest of my concealer, I'm going to be taking my Lorac Pro Contour Palette. I like to use a mixture usually of the beige highlight and the yellow highlight, but I am a little more fair these days since it is winter and there is no such thing as sun. I can get away with just using the beige highlight. So I go ahead and with the same brush, and I place that along my highlight areas. As you can see, I did put more where I had already put the MAC one, but that's because I like a lot of powder there until I'm done with my eyes, so that if I have a lot of fallout, I can easily just swoop it all off without ruining the rest of my makeup and all of this work that we're doing right now. I'm also taking it on the corner of my nose, down the bridge of my nose, up a little bit onto the forehead. And then I'm gonna go ahead and take this large fluffy powder brush, and I am gonna use a little bit more of this powder, but very lightly, on the rest of my face, because since this is transparent, it won't change the color of the rest of the makeup. So just a little bit on here, and I'm gonna go ahead and set the rest. Alrighty, now that we have all of our highlight in place, we can move on to bronzing and contouring. To bronze, I'm going to be using this Bronze Booster by Physicians Formula, and it is in the color medium to dark. The reason I think that bronzing is super important is because it's basically a transition shade for your contour. This way you don't have a stark, like, harsh ass line of contour that looks very, very obvious. This gives you a nice little transition to it. So I'm going to be taking some product. This is not too pigmented, which I like because I can be a little more sloppy and careless with it. I'm going to be taking some product onto this sort of tapered, fluffy blending face brush. I'm going to go ahead with circular motions going upward, just applying this where I will be contouring later on. Like I said, with this product, it's not too pigmented, so you can kind of go in and not be careful at all. For some reason, this always looks so much more pigmented when I go onto my forehead. than it does on my cheeks. I feel like it doesn't even show up much on my cheeks at all. On my forehead, it like definitely shows up. I'm also gonna go ahead and take it on my jawline because I'll be contouring there later. And I like to bring it down onto my neck a little bit too. It's all about real easy transitions. You don't want to be able to see where you start and stop something unless that's something that you like to do. All the power to you. You do you, boo boo. Now that we have bronzed our skin, we're going to be going in with that fluffy powder brush again, just to make sure the edges are nice and blended. And now we can contour. I'm going to be using that same brush, the little angled fluffy blending face brush. And I'm going to be dipping into the medium contour in that Lorac Pro Contouring palette. Now this product is a lot more pigmented, so you do have to be a little bit careful going with a light hand. So when contouring, you want to use your natural contour shape. You can kind of feel it out with your brush. Mine is right here. I go from that corner of my ear, and same thing, you use circular buffing motions, but you want to go upward. You don't want to bring contour under that line, but it's okay if you do, because you can easily go back in and clean it up. I swoop it up on towards my temples a little bit, because I do have such a round face. I really benefit from that. Taking a little bit more product and just intensifying it towards the back. As you can see, I'm not going up too much. You don't really want to go past your eye, because otherwise you'll be bringing your whole face kind of drooping down. I'm gonna go ahead and take it just on the back, more close to my hairline, up on my forehead, in the middle a little bit, blend it out, and I'm gonna go ahead and cut that jawline. I can really go ahead and contour a lot of my jawline because I want to get rid of that. But not everyone needs to do it this much. Alrighty, my camera stopped recording on me, but the only thing that you guys missed was me, you know, making sure that I brought the contour down onto my neck the same way I did with the bronzer. And then I went ahead with the same Lorac Pro contour brush and the lightest shade with quite a bit of product right underneath of my contours. I kind of like swooped it down to blend it out, and then I went straight forward right underneath to kind of make it a little less harsh, but not too much, because I still wanted to keep a little bit of the definition. So now that we have all of that done, we can go ahead and blush our cheeks. For this, I'm going to be taking this Ulta Cheek color, and this is in the color Afterglow. It's a really neutral color. I love this. It goes with pretty much everything, and it does have a little bit of shimmer, but all that you really have to do to get rid of the shimmer is tap off the excess. So I'm loading my brush up a little bit, kind of quite a bit, and tapping off the excess. I'm gonna go with a very light hand, because me personally, I don't like a lot of cheek color. I like to keep it a little more neutral, but it does bring a really pretty look and color to the face. So you can go ahead and smile to find the apples of your cheeks. I like to go ahead and add a little bit and work it a little tiny bit towards them. I go right back with that big fluffy brush and blend it. Alrighty, now we can go ahead and highlight our face. For this, I'm going to be using my Becca Cosmetics Champagne Pop in collaboration with Jaclyn Hill. You go, girl. This is a really pretty color for lots of skin tones. I'm going to be placing this on my highest points of the face. I did tap off the excess with this product also, because I find that it has a little bit of glitter, and that really gets rid of it for me. Gonna work that in and swoop it right around my eyebrow. And kind of blend it down. Make it as intense as you want it, or unintense, whatever you want. but just make sure to blend the edges so it's not stark highlight coming up out of nowhere. Now with my finger, I'm going to go ahead and highlight the tip of my nose. So we'll kind of give it a nice lifted appearance. And I'm going to go on to my bridge of my nose and Cupid's bow. I like to go in and contour my nose last. And for my nose, I do like to use the very lightest contour shade. It is much more cool tone, and you want cool tones on your nose, because if it's a little too warm, it will be very noticeable. With this, if you go in lightly enough, it'll look like an actual shadow. And I like to go right above that little ball of the nose to give myself a little bit of a butt nose. Little trick is to use a little bit of that same powder right underneath your lip. You'll automatically have a more pouty lip. That is it. That is my foundation routine, you guys. I hope that you enjoyed and that you learned something new today. If you did, please remember to give this video a thumbs up. It will help me out so much. Please do not forget to subscribe to my channel because it is free as hell. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on my next one. Bye.